So not too long ago I made a what's in my bag video, and just as kind of like a side note, while I was talking rubbish about something else, I mentioned that I work as a teen journalist. For anyone who doesn't really get what that is, it basically means that I do journalism for teenagers. That's pretty much as simple as I can explain it. So basically my job is to write about One Direction. I'm basically a paid fangirl. I get to write about all things that should be a guilty pleasure for a 22-year-old, but I will hold my hands up and say that I friggin' love most things that I should be over by now. Mainly boy bands. So I basically write stories like this. Yeah, this was my first ever published double page spread. Holla! And I write web articles like this. Or like this. I am not even kidding when I say I had so many emails and comments and tweets asking me loads of different questions about what I do and how I got into it. And seeing as they were all kind of along the same lines, I thought it would be a bit easier to kind of stick it all in a video. And if this helps one person kind of find their feet in the journalism industry, or decide that maybe it's what the route they want to go down, then that would be really cool. So basically when I left school, I had no idea that I wanted to be a writer. So after a minor quarterly life crisis and a quick re-evaluation of what I wanted to do with my life, basically, I headed back to London and I went to Queen Mary University of London, which is a great uni for English literature degrees, and that is what I did. And all these girls that I made friends with through the blogging world all seem to be doing this thing called internships. Hearing that all these really lovely girls were working at my favourite magazines alongside their university course was a real kick up the arse for me, and it kind of just like clicked something in my brain and made me realise that actually working for all these awesome magazines would be a really cool job, and I didn't really know why I hadn't thought of it before. So basically the girls kind of taught me how to apply for an internship, which is basically you trawl the internet, you make your CV amazing, and then you send it off and you sit with your fingers crossed and everything else crossed, and you hope that they get back to you. When you're applying for these internships at magazines and websites and all that kind of stuff, the main thing for you to remember to give you a real kind of kick up the arse and make your application amazing is to remember how many other people are doing exactly the same thing as you right now. And rather than getting really scared about that idea and thinking there is no point in me applying for this, I'm never going to get it, you need to kind of like channel that idea into a positive thing and put all that into kind of an effort to make your CV as amazing as you possibly can. It's there for you to prove why you deserve this internship more than all those other suckers. So you've got to be willing to put a bit of work into it. Make your CV stand out. I literally spent days like creating illustrations for my CV, designing it and redesigning it until I was happy with it, choosing fonts. If you think that you want to be a writer, or you want to be involved in fashion, you want to be a stylist or something like that, the main part of all of those kind of jobs is creativity. So if you send in a CV written in size 12 times New Roman with a picture of your passport photo at the top, you're not going to get very far. Include every single tiny little thing that might be relevant to what you're applying for. If you are trying to get a features internship, then write about the time that you wrote for the school newspaper or the time that you worked at your local newspaper. But if you're sitting there thinking, I really want to do this, but I have got no experience and nothing to put on my CV whatsoever, a really important thing for you to do is to go out and make your own experience. If you got no experience, you'll get some. By creating your own experience, I mean that you need to be proactive and prove that you really want to do this. So you need to talk to people at school and say, look, I really want to do journalism, but there's nothing here for me to do. Can I set up a weekly publication of some kind? Or you go to your local paper and say, I'm so keen to get into this industry, let me help you. Literally, you're going to have to work for free, you're going to have to do extra stuff, but if you want this internship or job that so many other young people with all the same credentials as you also want, then you have to prove why you want it more than everybody else. One little tip that I would say, it's not as helpful as it used to be because kind of everyone does it now, but you should definitely have your own blog. If you're producing kind of regular quality content about something, not only does it show that you have a real interest in this thing and that you're willing to put your own time into it, but it's also kind of an easy way for them to kind of check out your writing skills. One of my biggest suggestions for applying for internships, So it probably sounds like super obvious, but I don't know if people know kind of the extent of it that you have to do, but it's literally just do your research properly. So I started with applying for fashion internships. As you can see, I can barely dress myself in the morning. I don't really brush my hair, and I literally just put this hat on to cover up the dry shampoo. So fashion internships probably weren't the best option for me. Kel shocker. It was really fun and I enjoyed it, but it was based in the fashion cupboard and I didn't really get to do any writing, and I was kind of assisting on photo shoots and stuff, which is really fun. And if you're into that kind of thing, then it would have been a bloody dream. So first of all, the most important thing to do is decide kind of where you want your starting point to be. So what kind of department of a magazine you want to be in, so whether you want to do fashion, beauty, celebrity and entertainment, which is what I do. What else is there? Like lifestyle, so that's like relationships or interior design and that kind of thing. There's loads of different things, because then you've got all like your specialised magazines as well. So if you're really into gardening, then you can go to Gardener's Weekly. I don't know if that's a thing. And then the next bit of research you have to do is, I used to go to Tesco's and literally write down every single magazine on the entire rack, and then go home and Google for literally like 6 hours the right people to write to. So if you fancy doing a beauty internship, there is no point in sending your CV off to the features editor. I've personally found it's best to avoid writing to editors at all, and maybe kind of go for assistants, because they're the ones that tend to deal with the mail and put everything into its right place and that kind of thing. And you can also double check the websites and kind of find their internships page and see if it says anything about the qualities that they're after, and then you can use that information to kind of tailor your CV and then send it off, I guess. And my final like major point, I guess, is to remember that you have got to be willing to suffer for your art. I don't really know how else to put this. Let me try and explain this a bit better. If you are really serious about working in this industry, which is very competitive and very popular with young people, you have got to remember that this is a job that a lot of people like dream of. Rather than going for a job that people tend to settle for, you're aiming for a job that a lot of people really aspire to. So A, you have got to be willing to work and work and work and work. 99.9% of these internships will be unpaid. You will be run ragged a lot of the time, and it's very thankless. You've got to be willing to start from the bottom, so don't necessarily send off 5 CVs to Vogue, Harper's Bazaar and 3 other amazing magazines that everybody loves. That's a starting point, and as soon as you've got one, more will come in so much quicker. So yeah, basically just be willing to put up with a lot of crap, be willing to wait a long time for your first response, be willing to have to send your CV out maybe 100 times before you hear something. But just don't get disheartened, just remember how much work that you've got to put into this to get the job of your dreams, and hopefully it will all pay off. Okay, I think that's kind of all I have to say about trying to go about getting an internship. I feel like I can't really put enough detail into this, and maybe I should have split this up, but never mind, too late now, we're going back. So if I just kind of fill you in about what happened to me after the whole internship thing, it might kind of lighten this up a bit after me saying like, this is going to be horrible. I did my month-long fashion internship. Then the week after I left, I got called straight back to start training up new interns. And then from that, one of their sister publications asked me to do some photo shoot assistant, like styling assistant stuff, but that was paid. So I was like, hallelujah, I've worked for 2 months for free, finally get some paid work, so that was really cool. Then a while after that one, I did another fashion internship, which was only for 2 weeks, and then by that point I knew that fashion really wasn't really what I wanted to do, but I thought, can't really turn an internship down, so I just went to do it anyway. Then the next one I got after that was much more up my street. It was on the celebrity editorial desk, and basically my job there was to interview celebrities, write interview questions for the other people to go and interview celebrities with, research celebrities. If you don't like celebrities, it wasn't great. And then kind of just like go to celebrity parties and basically stalk people and see if certain rumours were true about them and all that kind of stuff. After that one, I interned at a Sunday supplement magazine. I can't really say what they're called because I don't want to get in trouble for anything in case I was crap. So it wasn't until I'd done 4 internships, all for free, along with some kind of minor paid work, that I finally landed my first job. Literally a couple of weeks before I applied for this one, I had a sudden epiphany that the thing for me to do was teen journalism, and I don't know why it took me so long to realise it, and maybe I could be really good at writing that because I have the mental age of a 10-year-old. I sent out all my CV to all the teenage magazines and a couple of websites, and it was one of the websites that got back to me. So I went there, I did a day, and hey presto, they gave me a job. And that is still what I do now. That is my main job and I absolutely love it. Basically I work as a freelance journalist, so I don't necessarily work for one company 9 to 5 every day. I do kind of shifts for them, so I work from home. A lot of the time I work in bed. Literally it's just the coolest job ever. I love it so much. And recently my editor from there has put me in touch with some more online work for a really famous women's magazine, so that's been amazing too. But that's kind of the websites that I work for at the moment, and then I also do published work, so for actual magazines rather than the online versions of the magazines. And it's not just British magazines that I write for American teenage magazines. So that is just like the coolest thing ever. I do like the main just like normal stories, but I also do like fun pages. So I kind of make the quizzes that say like, which Taylor Swift song are you? And stuff like that, which are harder to write than you would think they are. It's just such a fun job and I totally recommend it. If you are thinking maybe that sounds cool, then I would say 100,000,000% go for it. The worst that can happen is that you don't hear anything, in which case give it a month and just try again. Like literally, I can't tell you how fun it is, and I would say absolutely 100%, if you're thinking about going into journalism, do it! It will be an amazing decision. It's annoying because there's like loads of stuff that I could say about this, but I don't think people would sit through like a 2-hour long video. So maybe if there's anything in particular that people want me to talk a little bit more about, I could do another one of these. Or maybe I could do a Q&A session about this. That might be quite cool. I don't know, I need to think about these things more before I just blurt them out on camera. So I'm gonna be quiet now because this has gone on for way too long. Thank you so much for sitting through this incredibly long and maybe quite dull video if this isn't something you're particularly interested in. I'll just leave all my kind of like contact details down there and you can contact me any way you like and I will try my best to help you. And we danced all night to the best cat ever. I hate One Direction cause they are not cats, they are men, and I hate people because I'm a cat and I want to destroy the world. I will speak to you soon. Bye!